Welcome to Unpacked. Now back at Computex, ASUS revealed this. The Republic of Gamers G20 pre-built compact desktop system. Wheels put all-in-one in the script, but that isn't correct. All-in-ones have monitors built into them. So, I mean, yeah, there was also the GR8, the Great. While that system was smaller, it only holds a GTX 750 Ti. This beast right here can house up to a GTX 780 in spite of its diminutive size. The system's built in a 12.5 liter chassis. It's got 3-zone lighting that's controlled by software, and it features their Aegis performance monitoring app, complete with fancy animations that arguably take a little bit long to animate when you're switching between things, especially when Windows also has Task Manager, and it uses about 15 to 20% of CPU. So other than looking really freaking cool, I don't know if I'm that impressed by it. Let's do a quick overview of the outside of this bad boy though. So starting at the front, we've got two USB 3 super speed ports. We've got front panel audio as well as a slimline optical drive. Over on the left, we've got an ASUS logo. Over on the right, we've got this ROG logo and some other logos that are on like stickers and stuff. On the bottom, we've got intake, and at the top, we've got exhaust. This is where the heat goes, other than the heat that would come out of your graphics card if you had a higher end unit. We've got a bit of an entry level one here, so the graphics card doesn't have a rear exhaust blower on it. At the back, we've got 4 USB 2.0 ports, 2 USB 3 ports, gigabit Ethernet, 7.1 audio, HDMI out, that's the onboard HDMI, because it's of course got an Intel CPU unit, so it's got onboard video. You've got 2 DC power inputs potentially. This is one of the lower end models, so only the smaller DC jack is needed, although the very high end ones can need both jacks connected at the same time. That's right, not one jack, but 2 jacks. And this episode doesn't have any jacks. It's me doing Unpacked. Where is Jack? Anyway, there's also the outputs from the graphics card back here. It can take up to a 2-slot card, and that would normally be it. I mean, okay, there's some cool stuff. It draws only 20 watts at idle. It's got home server ability with Intel something or other. Anyway, let's open this baby up, shall we? Oh, it's really quiet. Idle noise is around 22 decibels according to their specs, and seems pretty quiet. Mind you, I just turned it off. So while I go ahead and pop this baby apart, I actually already pre-removed the screws. I think it voids your warranty or something, but I'm not too worried about that for this one. So anyway, the specs of this one runs on an Intel H97 chipset custom board. It's got an i3 4150 or i5 or i7 up to a 4790. It goes from GT 705 up to GTX 780 for the graphics cards. It has 2 SODIMM slots, so you can put in a couple 8 gig sticks if you want. It takes up to a 256 gig SSD. Although that's probably just stock. I'm sure you can upgrade it with something else if you want. And it can take up to a 3 terabyte, 3.5-inch hard drive. Slimline Blu-ray, Slim Tray Blu-ray, whatever it is you meant to write there. Wireless AC, Bluetooth 4.0, Intel Gigabit LAN with Game First. Okay, that's kind of cool. And okay, I'm done with trying to do specs because there's a lot of different specs because you can get it in a lot of different configs. So let's open this bad boy up and have a look inside, shall we? Okay, so first we've got the connectors for the RGB lighting on the outer panel. I'm just going to go ahead and pop these bad boys off because I'm sure that's what you're supposed to do. All right, then we've got the rest of the guts. So it's got a dual fan system here. So you can see that it's actually intaking air. Here we go. So it's got these 2 gaps in the side panel here where it can easily draw air into these 2 blowers that then exhaust all the air up the top. This is going to take care of your CPU cooling as well as anything else to hear in the upper compartment. So there's your 2 SODIMM slots that are accessible over here. You can actually not see a whole lot else, although even though ASUS says it's not upgradable, they did give you, this little tiny itty bitty adorable SATA cable, and there's an extra SATA power connector here, so it appears that if I had a 2.5-inch SSD, which I do, it appears that the SSD goes in here somehow. This is an extremely compact system and is very thoughtfully laid out. The 3.5-inch hard drive is down here in the bottom, and you can actually also see there's a PCI Express connector coming over here to the very, very uninspiring looking graphics card that's plugged into a PCI Express 16X slot that is coming out of a riser card here in order to achieve this compact form factor. Now, you can see they left a lot of space, and you can see on this side panel, this mesh here can be removed. There's actually a screw in it. You can pop that off. The whole thing comes apart with just 2 screws, by the way. So that can be unscrewed to give this card much better access to outside air, and then it can exhaust it out the, excuse me, out the back. So you're gonna want a blower design card. If you did decide to upgrade it, of course, you would need an additional power supply and all that, because this is just a single 6-pin connector, and based on that, it's running off of a single, what is this, about a 230 watt brick? I don't know, I'm eyeballing the, well, it looks like only about a 200 watt brick. So a single 200 watt brick, you're not gonna be able to put in something super crazy on your own. I would recommend getting the model that has whatever you want. I think I've blathered enough about this. Very cool little system. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Unpacked. Don't miss any episodes of Unpacked, whether they're with me or Jack or Slack or Rack. We don't have Rack, do we? Full male hosting staff.